Okay, so I'm setting up a WordPress install only to run our autoresponder. So I'm going to have to put a few things in here and just do a bit of minimal setup. Now, if you've already got your blog set up, the only thing you're going to have to worry about is setting up the autoresponder plugin. Okay, so what I want to do though is I want to come into settings here and I'm going to want to go down to permalinks and then I'm just going to want to use post name here. Let's save that. We should also go to reading and we should just configure a page that people will land on if they happen to get to this site. Now, I'm not even going to bother setting one up. We're just going to pick the sample page here. So let's get to a WordPress sample page and I'll go, nothing interesting here. Okay, so save the changes. All right, so let's just go look at what people will see if they land on this site we're just using as an autoresponder. This is all they're going to see. Really nothing to see here. They're just going to move on. Think, oh, it's just a sample blog or something, if they happen to stumble upon it. Okay, so let's just go back into the dashboard. The next thing we want to do is go to plugins, and then we're going to want to go add new. Okay, now let's go over to search and type in autoresponder. And the one you want here is Arigato Autoresponder and Newsletter. So let's click install now. And we're going to activate. Now, Arigato will also work with Contact Form 7 if you have Contact Form 7 on your website so that people can get in contact with you. So I'm just going to put Contact Form 7 on this install just so I can show you how it works. But you don't need to do that if you're just setting up for an autoresponder on this particular blog. So I'm going to go to Add New, and I'm going to install Contact Form 7. Go Popular and Contact Form 7. So I'm just going to install that. All right, so now what we want to do is set up our autoresponder settings. So I see down here we have Arigato Lite, and then we have settings, mailing list, import or export. So if you already have contacts, you can bring them in. We have email messages, send newsletter, a raw email log, then help, and this Ninja form, which doesn't work. And I'll try it again, but it doesn't seem to work when I was testing it. Okay, so we're just going to go into the main settings, and this is where we start to set things up. Now remember, we only have one mailing list available with this free version. You'll see on the right side it says Go Pro and it tells you all the other stuff you get. So if you only have one mailing list, you don't need to bother with that. And that's what we're assuming here. Okay, now you're going to put in here your name and your email address so that it looks like it's coming from you. And you do it in this format that they show you down here. So your name and then a space and then email at domain.com within these less than and greater than signs. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I put listed min and then I put an email address in there. Now, after they fill in the registration form, you may want to send them somewhere else. So if you do, this is where you're going to send them. Now remember, since we only have the one mailing list, we're only going to have the one web form, and we're only going to have one place we can direct them to. So you can put anything you want in here, whether it's a thank you page or right off to an affiliate product. I'll just put in Google for now, just so you can see where that it redirects properly. Okay, whether you're going to have double or single opt-in, I'll just leave it at single. Okay, and then we have notify me when someone subscribes or activates. notify me when someone unsubscribes, I wouldn't suggest that you check those. And then this next one here, if you have your blog set up so that you're going to allow people to sign into it, register and sign in, then this is a handy option here. You can have them automatically subscribe to your newsletter. And if you tick that, after they do their first login, it's going to subscribe them automatically so they don't have to fill out a web form. Down here, you can decide whether you want to set up a cron job or you let WP Auto Cron do it for you. Basically, what that's going to do is trigger the autoresponder system. And I would suggest that you just leave it as it is unless you know about cron jobs. So basically, as soon as somebody visits your website the first time in a day, it will start the processes going, including the scheduler. So this works just fine if you leave it like that. Now, this next one was what I was telling you about. If you have shared hosting, you're only allowed to send so many emails at once. So I'm just going to put 250 here. You have to look up your hosting provider if you're using shared hosting and find out what that is. Now, as it says here, it doesn't limit the number of sign-up emails or instant newsletters, and we'll get to that in a minute. Okay, so let's just save settings. Okay, now down here you have your form. Okay, so let's just copy this out of here. So select it all and copy. Now I'm just going to copy this into Notepad here. I'll just use this one I had here. And then I'm just going to paste it in here. Okay, so this is all that we have for the form. So username, email, register. All right, so I'm just going to save this as an HTML, and then I'll show you what it looks like. So save as. Okay, so I save it as test.html. So I'm going to open test.html now. And this is your form. Okay, so you got your name, email, and way over here you have register. So you're not likely going to want to put it on your site like that. You're going to want to fancy it up a bit. All right, so in the next video, we're going to work on this form a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how to integrate it into your sites.